So just the other day, the showrunner for the Netflix live-action Avatar The Last Airbender show came out in an interview and spoke to several things, one of which really shocked me to the point where I audibly cheered with joy. This isn't humongous news, but in some cases for a lot of fans, it is a statement that I think is going to resonate with them a whole lot going into the new show coming in February. My fellow benders of all four nations, welcome to Uncle Iroh's Tea Shop. Find yourself a seat, grab some jasmine tea, and enjoy the video. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, the showrunner for the new Netflix live-action show, Albert Kim, gave a statement regarding the Last Airbender live-action movie from 2010, where he said, and I quote, "I'll tell you something. I never watched the Shyamalan movie," Kim shared. "There was a period of time where I thought I should watch it, but then I thought I don't really want those images in my head as I start to go forward with our version of this project, so I avoided it purposely." In that same interview, he would also mention this with regards to the live-action movie. "I knew what fans didn't like about it in general," Kim carried on, "but those kinds of pitfalls weren't hard to avoid. For instance, an authentic version of the casting, that is something that we would have done regardless. And, to be fair, Shyamalan's movie was made at a time when the technology hadn't caught up yet to what the world deserved. So I knew that the VFX was going to be much better than whatever they did anyway." Those are certainly statements coming from the guy who is heading this new version of Avatar, and I have to say, I think he nailed it on the head in many ways, but also there's a part of me that almost kind of wish he did see the movie, just so he understood what was not meant to be done with his version. Although, on the positive side, I don't blame him at all because he is absolutely right with regards to what he correctly said about that live-action version. To this day, that movie is not just maybe arguably the worst adaptation of an IP ever, but it is probably in the top 20 worst films ever made, give or take. I don't blame him for not wanting to look at it, especially since for somebody like me, I still to this day don't even remember if I saw that film in theaters or not. That's how forgettable it was. I've only seen it once, and I think that's good enough for me personally. The other part of his statement on the live-action movie with regards to visual effects and casting, I think is also spot on. There's a really fine line between being able to make sure that you cast great actors in the roles, and then also couple that in with visual effects. Both were simply just not there for the original film. His point about the visual effects is very sound because it is also a good comparison to something like the Avatar films from James Cameron. Shocker, that's very ironic. James Cameron waited all those years for the second film to come out so that he could hone in on the power and range that the new world of visual effects could take him to. I really liked that second movie from that perspective, and I think it worked out in the end because he took his time with it and he let the VFX become more powerful for his vision of that second film. As funny as it is to say, I'm actually somebody who thinks that the visual effects in the original live-action film are not as bad as they think they are based on look. It's just that the way that they were used in execution was absolutely horrendous. Everybody knows the famous scene of the Earthbenders from the original film, and that's what I mean by execution and how terrible it was. And I think so far, at least from what I've seen from the trailer, they are nailing it down quite well for the new live-action television show. There's another part of the Entertainment Weekly interview where he actually ended up talking about the idea of taking over this show when the original creators of the Avatar world left due to creative differences. He very much speaks to the idea that it was very tough for him to go into this project knowing that he had to take over for both the original creators when they stepped down, and I really honestly don't blame him, and so this is not the easiest task in the world as he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. To this day, with regards to the original creators, there is still no concrete confirmation as to what it was exactly that made them leave over creative differences, and so potentially we could end up finding out once the first season is over, or we just might not find out ever at all. My best guess is that it might not have had to have done with regards to the writing, as in his interview with Albert Kim, he mentions that all the writers are fans of the original show, and they drew upon their own personal experiences and the things that they loved the best about the original while developing the new adaptation. He said, "We don't start the show the way the animated series starts," Kim added. "That was a conscious decision to show people that it is not the animated series. We had to sometimes unravel storylines and remix them in a new way to make sense for a serialized drama. So I'm very curious to see what will happen in terms of the reaction to that." I imagine there are going to be some fans out there who take caution with regards to that statement because when you see somebody use the term serialized drama and then you compare that with regards to the original show, there's not a distinct connection there. And honestly, the more you think about it, that could be the reason why those original creators ended up leaving due to creative differences. There is absolutely a lot of drama in the original show, but I think that the thing that also comes through in that series is the idea that the tone was very well handled from the drama into also the humor and exciting parts, which are very evident throughout. The original animated show handles both so well equally, and given the fact that there are more than 8 episodes for that to be showcased in book 1, 2, and 3, I think that was also a benefit to them at the time, and so given that the live action adaptation is only 8 episodes, I wonder how that will be handled. Don't get me wrong, I still think there's going to be humor in the show, but it might not be on the level of the animated version. Although, his comments with regards to the writers do make me happy because I imagine for a lot of those people it was a passion project to work on this show, as they were probably people who grew up with the show like I did. With regards to Albert Kim himself as the showrunner, if you go on IMDb, you'll see here that this is all that he has done in terms of his filmography. I don't know if anybody here has seen any of these projects, but he definitely has a lot of experience with regards to how much he's done over an extended period of time on these shows. While he's not specifically writing Avatar: The Last Airbender live action, I will be curious to see his direction for how he plans out each episode. That's going to do it for this video today. I want to hear all your thoughts down below in the comments as we wrap up this video. What did you all think of his comments with regards to the live action film, and also what did you think of his comments with regards to how he handled taking up the role of the showrunner when the original creators of the IP left? And then also, finally, what did you think of my commentary with regards to giving my thoughts on this? Drop those comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and let's see if we can hit a goal of 50 likes on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here and looking forward to more Avatar content in the future, and turn on the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that. On your way out of Uncle Iroh's tea shop, be sure to let him know how much you appreciate his jasmine tea and his words of wisdom that come with it. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I will see you soon.